test begins, we will start with OFDM 16 QAM. As you can see, the receiver receives it perfectly. So this is the setup with LED and photo detector. There's the power supply, USRPs, and bias T behind. Now we switch to 64 QAM. Naturally, the receiver can't receive it right now, but when we change it to 64 QAM, it begins receiving. Now it's time to change the modulation type. We switch to VPPM. So we restart the program here. And when we receive it in VPPM, it comes better than the previous one. So let's change the coding type. We begin with 4B6B. As you can see, the data is broken, but when we change it to 4B6B, we can get it perfectly. Now let's switch to Manchester coding. When the receiver is set to Manchester coding, the transmission is done perfectly. Now let's change the modulation type once again. Let's begin with on-off keying, no coding. When receiver is also set to on-off key, no coding, the transmission is successful. Let's try the codings. 4B6B at transmitter side, 4B6B at receiver side, and the transmission is good. Manchester at transmitter side, Manchester at receiving side. Again, the transmission is good. We can make it better by increasing the sampling rate, but still this is okay. Now it's time to change the brightness. We set it to 10, and as I observed, the transmitted data became more obsolete, and when the lights go off, the transmission is still successful. So once again, this is the setup with LED and photo detector facing each other in the aligned way. We have a bias T that adds up AC on DC and channels them together. We have two USRPs, one as transmitter and the other as receiver. That's all.
The bias T is supplied to the fog light. This is the transmitter side. The data is sent with on-off keying modulation. This is the bias T. One side is fed with DC power supply. The other is fed with USRP. Both USRP and power supply is fed with gel accumulator in the car. Fog light and the photodetector is aligned such that the photodetector is as the built-in part of the backlight of the front car. This is the receiver side. The data is demodulated with on-off keying modulation.